The illusion of intelligence is one of the most dangerous deceptions a person can fall into. A man who is truly ignorant, yet believes himself to be wise, is not merely mistaken. He is a threat to reason, to growth, and to those who must endure his arrogance. This man walks through life blindfolded, convinced he sees clearly. He confuses the noise he makes for the weight of his words. He believes that speaking often is the same as speaking with wisdom, and in his world, volume equals truth. He does not listen, because to him, listening implies that there is something to learn. And why would a man who thinks he already knows everything bother to learn anything new? The fool takes confidence and wears it like armor, but it is rusted and full of holes. He cannot tell the difference between self-assurance and self-deception. To him, conviction is truth. If he believes something strongly enough, then it must be right. He rarely questions his own opinions because his fragile ego cannot survive the possibility of being wrong. And so, he becomes trapped in a prison of his own mind, reinforced by pride, guarded by arrogance. He talks, not to understand but to dominate the conversation. He interrupts wisdom to inject mediocrity. He mistakes reaction for intelligence and emotion for insight. In meetings, in debates, in casual conversations, he is always certain. He is rarely silent. He assumes leadership not because he is fit to lead, but because he is too ignorant to recognize his unfitness. And those around him often enable him, mistaking his boldness for brilliance. The herd will follow the loudest voice if it cannot distinguish sound from sense. This illusion is often fed by society itself. In a world where performance is praised more than substance, and where fast answers are mistaken for deep thinking, the fool thrives. He mimics intelligence. He uses complex words without understanding their weight. He borrows the language of thinkers, but not the discipline. He can quote the wise, but he cannot apply their lessons. And yet, to the average eye, he seems impressive. He moves with confidence, speaks with flair, and wears the mask of knowledge. But masks fall, and when they do, they reveal the emptiness beneath. True intelligence requires humility. It demands silence, patience, the willingness to observe and absorb. The wise man knows the depth of what he does not know, and that knowledge shapes his every word. But the fool is not burdened by such awareness. He feels free to assert, to assume, to dominate, because he is not aware of his limitations. This freedom is not born of strength. It is born of blindness. The illusion persists because it is comfortable. It flatters the ego. It rewards mediocrity dressed as mastery. And so the fool walks proudly, speaks confidently, and acts boldly, never realizing that everything he is sure of is built on sand. True intelligence is not loud. It does not announce itself in crowded rooms, nor does it seek validation through applause or attention. It is quiet, observant, and above all, humble. The man who possesses true intellect carries within him a persistent doubt, not because he lacks confidence, but because he understands the vastness of what he does not know. He is aware that the world is layered, complex, and full of contradictions, and this awareness compels him to question everything, including himself. He does not fear being wrong. He fears assuming he is right without scrutiny. The truly intelligent man does not equate his knowledge with finality. For him, every piece of insight is merely a fragment of a much larger puzzle. He does not speak in absolutes unless they have been tested through fire. He is cautious with his words, deliberate in his reasoning. He listens more than he speaks, not because he is passive, but because he values understanding over dominance. He watches others argue, rush to conclusions, and parade their half-formed opinions as truth, all the while calculating, analyzing, and weighing before contributing his voice. His silence is not weakness, it is the expression of discipline. Where the fool sees silence as ignorance, the intelligent man uses silence as strategy. He knows that wisdom is often drowned by noise, and so he waits. He collects information. He measures not only facts but the character of those presenting them. He looks for bias, emotion, inconsistency, not out of cynicism, but because he knows that truth often wears disguises. He is not drawn to popularity. He is not seduced by consensus. He does not seek comfort in agreeing with the crowd. If anything, he is skeptical of ideas that come too easily, that feel too good to be questioned. He would rather be the only one asking hard questions than the loudest one repeating easy answers. His sense of value is not built on how many people agree with him, but on how well he understands the complexity of an issue. This man does not fear uncertainty. In fact, he respects it. He knows that the moment you claim to know everything, you have stopped learning. Certainty to him is a dangerous illusion, one that seduces the weak-minded into arrogance. He would rather be eternally curious than momentarily right. He revisits his own beliefs regularly, not out of insecurity, but out of the desire to sharpen them. He challenges his own conclusions because he understands that strength of thought is forged through opposition, not comfort. The intelligent man recognizes that most people are in love with their opinions, not the truth. And so he learns to move through the world quietly, observing the dance of ego and ignorance, knowing that those who shout the loudest often understand the least. He lets others rush to judgment while he remains still. He lets others chase attention while he chases clarity. He does not rush to answer every question, because he is still perfecting the ones he asks. Arrogance is the most trusted disguise of ignorance. It cloaks itself in confidence, masks itself as strength, and deceives not only others, but most fatally, the fool who wears it. The man who knows the least often believes he knows the most, and to protect this fragile illusion, he grows arrogant. He speaks with finality, not because he understands the subject, but because he fears the exposure that comes with admitting uncertainty. Every boast, every overconfident declaration, every dismissal of another's perspective is a defensive wall built to protect the hollow structure beneath. This arrogance is not rooted in mastery. It is rooted in fear. The fear of being challenged, the fear of being questioned, the fear of being revealed as ordinary. And so the ignorant man postures. He belittles those who dare to correct him. He mocks nuance. He treats disagreement as a personal attack, not an opportunity to refine thought. His pride is his shield, but it is made of glass. The smallest truth, when aimed correctly, can shatter it entirely. To the arrogant fool, humility is weakness. He cannot comprehend the strength it takes to say, "I don't know." He has never tasted the discipline of silence, nor the self-control required to admit error. He measures his worth not by how much he has learned, but by how dominant he appears. Appearances become his obsession. He invests more in looking intelligent than in becoming so. He polishes his ego, rehearses his lines, and learns to mimic the cadence of conviction, but the substance is missing. The structure is hollow. This man surrounds himself with agreement. He handpicks companions who echo his thoughts and flatter his pride. He avoids those who challenge him, for their presence is uncomfortable. Their questions threaten the fantasy. He cannot afford to be around truth, because truth does not flatter. Truth pierces, and to the arrogant, that piercing feels like humiliation. Rather than grow, he hides. Rather than evolve, he doubles down. He becomes a slave to his own delusion. Arrogance blinds him to feedback. He doesn't hear correction. He hears insult. He doesn't process critique. He defends against it. In every conflict, he is right by default, not by reason. If he fails, the world is to blame. If he's outmatched, the other must have cheated. If he's exposed, he attacks. It is always someone else's fault, never his own. Accountability would mean confronting his ignorance, and that is the one thing he cannot face. And yet, he is admired by the shallow, celebrated by the unthinking. In a world that often mistakes boldness for brilliance, the arrogant fool finds an audience. His loud voice draws attention. His certainty brings applause, and that applause becomes his nourishment. But it is empty. It feeds only the ego, never the mind. He may climb high in the eyes of the foolish, but the fall is inevitable, because arrogance can elevate a man's image, but it cannot elevate his understanding. The fool does not seek truth. He seeks affirmation. He surrounds himself not with men who challenge him, but with those who mirror him. To him, the highest virtue is agreement. He does not desire to grow, to refine his thinking, or to sharpen his judgment. Instead, he seeks to be praised, echoed, repeated. This is why flattery is the preferred language of the ignorant. It tells them what they already believe, and it shields them from the discomfort of truth. The fool mistakes comfort for correctness. If a thought feels good, he believes it must be true. If a person agrees with him, that person must be wise. If a message aligns with his ego, it becomes gospel. He builds for himself an echo chamber, brick by brick. Every disagreement is filtered out. Every critique is dismissed. Every difficult truth is labeled negativity. He confuses loyalty with obedience. He wants friends, not for companionship, but for validation. Not to learn from them, but to be worshipped by them. Those who disagree become enemies. Those who question become threats. The only acceptable voices are those that clap when he speaks and nod when he lies to himself. The fool fears correction more than he fears failure. He sees every lesson as an insult. He does not separate his identity from his ideas, so to challenge what he believes is to challenge who he is. This fragile construction cannot survive truth, so he fortifies it with delusion. He learns to ignore, to twist, to spin. He trains himself to reinterpret facts so they suit his feelings. He listens only to be confirmed, not to be informed. He debates not to explore ideas, but to protect his own. When someone confronts him with a reality he does not like, his first response is dismissal. His second is defensiveness. His third is aggression. He will attack the messenger, question their motives, insult their intelligence, anything to avoid confronting the idea that he might be wrong. His pride does not allow room for doubt. His mind, closed by design, becomes a vault self-deception. Over time, the fool's world grows smaller. He is surrounded by sycophants and yes-men. His ideas go unchallenged. His actions go unchecked. His mistakes are either ignored or celebrated. He believes he is winning when he is simply avoiding resistance. He thinks he is respected, when in truth, he is merely tolerated by those who fear or pity him. No one dares to speak plainly to him anymore, because he has created an environment where truth is punished and deception is rewarded. This is the tragedy. The fool believes he is being empowered by praise, when in fact, he is being poisoned by it. Every compliment that reinforces a lie makes him weaker. Every cheer from the ignorant makes him more blind. The more he is surrounded by mirrors, the less he sees the world beyond his own reflection. He believes he is growing, but he is only inflating. And what is inflated is easily punctured. The man who is blind to his own ignorance is the most dangerous of all. He does not hesitate because he does not see the risks. He does not question because he does not see the complexity. He does not listen because he believes he already understands. This man walks forward with confidence, but not with wisdom. He speaks as if he has studied, but he has only skimmed the surface. He leads others not because he is prepared, but because he is bold enough to pretend. And in this pretense, he causes damage that far exceeds the scope of his own life. When the blind lead the blind, all fall together. Fools who believe themselves wise are not harmless. Their certainty makes them influential. Their loudness makes them heard. Their conviction attracts attention. Others follow them, not because they are right, but because they appear sure. People crave clarity, even if it's false. They want confidence, even if it's empty. And so, the ignorant man becomes a leader, not by merit, but by audacity, not by vision, but by noise. He rises through a system that rewards performance over precision, posture over principle. And the damage he causes is rarely immediate. It unfolds quietly, subtly, until the consequences can no longer be ignored. He makes decisions without understanding the weight of them. He gives advice as if he's earned the authority. He issues commands as if he's studied the terrain. But his confidence is not grounded in knowledge. It's built on the assumption that things are simpler than they are. He does not see the layers. He does not see the moving parts. He does not see the patterns. And worse, he does not believe those layers matter. To him, doubt is weakness. Complexity is unnecessary. He trusts his instincts, but his instincts are untrained. He believes in his intuition, but it is shaped by ignorance, not experience. And when the world starts to show him cracks, he does not step back. He doubles down. He blames others. He questions everything but himself. To admit error would destroy the image he has built, and so he never will. He will protect his illusion of competence at all costs, even if it means ruining the very thing he set out to control. His pride demands obedience from those around him. His ego silences criticism. He eliminates people who speak truth, labeling them disloyal or negative. He filters reality through his emotions and interprets disagreement as betrayal. The ignorant man who thinks he is wise is far more destructive than the one who simply admits he doesn't know. The latter can be guided, can be educated, can be warned. But the former, he believes he is the guide. He is deaf to counsel, blind to evidence, and immune to correction. He infects others with his arrogance. He builds systems, makes policies, teaches others, and in doing so, multiplies his ignorance. His damage spreads not because he is evil, but because he is certain. And that certainty, when held by the wrong mind, becomes a weapon. The greatest danger in this world is not the man who knows nothing, but the man who knows little and believes it to be everything. His ignorance is not passive. It is weaponized by pride, masked by arrogance, and fueled by the illusion of superiority. He is loud where he should be silent, certain where he should be questioning, and praised when he should be corrected. He confuses agreement with truth, boldness with wisdom, and attention with value. Surrounded by mirrors that flatter, no sharpen, he drifts further from clarity and deeper into delusion. The wise are silent not because they lack thoughts, but because they are still sharpening them. They are cautious with truth, patient with complexity, and humble before the vastness of what they do not yet understand. Meanwhile, the fool builds his life on unstable ground, reinforced by ego and comfort, protected by flattery and fear. He sees only what benefits him and hears only what agrees with him. Ask yourself, do you seek truth or validation? Do you challenge yourself or protect your pride? Do you listen to grow or to reply? The path to power is not walked by pretending to know. It is carved through discipline, through humility, through the brutal rejection of self-deception. Most will never choose that path, but if you do, you won't just be different, you'll be dangerous.